Anthropic have just updated Claude Co-Work, and honestly, this thing is a game changer.
A game-changing defender.
For small, medium-sized businesses. We've gone all in on Anthropic, and on Claude specifically, and we started utilizing all of that technology within Co-Work itself. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your own small, medium-sized business Co-Work agent, basically, so that you can start utilizing AI the right way, which isn't just some bullshit LinkedIn posts that you want to put out there. This is actually how AI is being used by decent, small, medium-sized businesses, and how you can take away loads and loads of effort of work, manual labor for yourself by just utilizing the technology. So follow along. I'll show you how to set it all up, and I'll show you some of the things that Claude small business app within Claude, what it does, how to use it, and exactly how to set it all up. So this is the platform. So if you haven't downloaded Claude Co-Work, firstly, Google it, right? Go onto Google, download Claude Co-Work. You end up downloading it as a desktop app, as you can see here. Now I'm in the desktop app itself. All you need to do when you very first download, you can see I've done a few little searches here, which I started setting up just in preparation for doing this video. When you first set it up, what you need to do is just set up your profile. So at the bottom here, you've got my name here, Chris Pro. Go into settings firstly, and then go into Co-Work just on the left-hand side here. What Co-Work does is it essentially reads the files that you have on your local hard drive, and then once it reads those files, it starts working from that. That avoids the scenario where you have to type everything in as a prompt, basically. So what you can see here, I've got a desktop file, which is my Claude Co-Work file, and I've got all of the prompts and all of my things that I need Co-Work to understand about me, which is all saved in that file. You can see Co-Work directly uses these files as artifacts, right? But the global instructions is the bit that's quite important. In fact, let me show you the files first, right? So if I go to my desktop here, as you can see, personal Claude Co-Work. In the Co-Work, just set up a number of different files for yourself, right? I've got these three which are important. We've got about me, stick a TXT file in there, Word document, which is all about you as a person. So who are you, what do you do, what's your business, who are your clients, what's the size of project that you want your business to be able to operate in. Put it all within the about me text file, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is what's your brand voice. So in here, we've got our Spore brand, all of our fonts, all of our colors, all of our logos, everything is within our brand voice. Brand voice is also how do you talk. So I quite like to talk quite directly, as if I'm speaking to a mate down the pub, basically. So you put all that down into the brand voice. We as a company ourselves, we don't do corporate jargon. We don't like LinkedIn, I'm delighted to announce all that sort of rubbish. Ours is just purely speaking to a mate down the pub. We put all that into the brand voice. And then down here, we've got a working style as well. The working style is basically just, I can show you here working style. When I put a prompt into Claude Co-Work, the Co-Work then, this is the first thing it does, is it asks me qualifying questions to get to know that the prompt that I'm putting in there is right? I like long answers, so I prefer long answers, so it gives me the ability to summarize those long answers, and I work within Microsoft 365 and Google as well. So that's the working style. So they're the three things to put within your files, right? Then once you've got those three things, if you come back into if I go back to the settings again, once I'm in, if I go to settings, Chris Pro, settings, Claude Co-Work here, global instructions, what I do is I edit the instructions and I literally paste the three things within those files that I just mentioned a few minutes ago into here. You can see here's my working style. So I paste all of that into the global instructions here, which basically means Claude Co-Work will utilize those instructions as its first example, and then that's how it starts working, right? So that's how you set it up. Next thing to do then, once you've got Claude Co-Work loaded as a desktop app here, you've got three options. You've got the chat option, you've got the Co-Work option, you've got the code option. Chat is just like any other normal chat, right? Let's move away from that for now. Let's utilize Co-Work. Here's the really cool thing about Co-Work. If you go to customize, and then if you go to your connectors here, what we've got is you can already see I've got some plugins. I've got some plugins already connected. You've got the ability to connect all of your other apps that you utilize for workplace. So you've got my Gmail account, I've got Google Drive. We use HubSpot as a CRM. So I've connected HubSpot into my Claude Co-Work space. I've got my Microsoft 365, which is all my emails and my calendar, etc., etc. My Wix is my website. I've connected all of these as connectors, which basically means Claude takes information from my connectors and I utilize that for prompts, which I'll go through in a minute. But the second thing to do is we've got some plugins, right? These are really cool. So these are predefined prompts that are already created by Claude as a plugin. So if I go to plus here, I can browse plugins, and here are all of the plugins that Claude automatically has for you. The one I want to concentrate on is the small business one. So we've got in here pre-built small business workflows. Now you can see I've already downloaded it, right? But if I go into here and I've activated it, let's uninstall it. Let me show you this from the start, right? So personal plugins, press the plus button, browse the plugins. I want the small business one, right? So I own, obviously, I own a medium-sized company. We've got 30 staff. We've got global deployments, multiple offices. So ours is more of a medium-sized business. But if I click on the plus button here, you can now see this is, well, it's already in use because I've already done it. But if I go back to my small business one here, I've pressed the plus button, and then I can then go on to customize. What it's got here is it then says, customize my small business based off of this project. So if I go back to the project that I just created a few minutes ago, which was the files that I created, which I shared with you a couple of minutes ago, you got this here. Let's select that. What it's given me the ability to now do is customize my small business plugin utilizing the files that I created a few minutes ago. So I press plus on this. That'll then start running its system. I need to press allow. That'll then start running its system. This will take a few minutes. Once that's all run, it then comes out with a brief on what my business is, and then the small business plugin is then set up, allowing you the ability to then run some further prompts. Let me let this run. Once it's run and finalized, we'll come back and I'll show you some of the prompts that I can use. Right, so as you can see, we just waited a couple of minutes there and it's now kicked out basically that the fact that the small business plugin customization has now been customized based off of the files that I asked it to look at. Scott's going to edit all of this out. He's going to blur out the content because the content is actual real content for my business sport. So clearly I can't share some of that information, but I can share the concept of how to set this up. So all you then have is you have the ability to, at the bottom there, it just gives you the option to save the plugin. So you press save plugin, that plugin is now saved, and that plugin can now be used to really quickly prompt any small, medium business decisions that I need to make within the actual context of Claude itself. For the purposes of the demonstration, much like Blue Peter back in the day, here's one I did earlier. So within the actual Co-Work plugin itself, and again, Scott's going to edit all of this out.
I'm tired, boss.
What you've then got the ability to do is when you go into, in fact, I'll show you very quickly how to do this. Now that I've got that saved as a plugin, all I need to do is if I go back to new task and I start entering a task, what I simply need to do is I go to press this little plus button here. If I go to the plugins, you can see I've got the plugin. I've got 2 plugins done because obviously I've done them earlier. All I simply need to do is click on this little button here. This gives you a drop down menu, and then I go through the drop down menu here to have a little look at how it can create some reports for me. So let's say, for example, I want a Monday morning brief. The Monday morning brief, what it'll do is it'll read all of my calendar. It'll read my any of my jobs and on any of my emails that I need to respond to. It'll read any of my CRM data that I need to respond to. It'll read the whole thing, right, that I've given it access to. I simply click that button and press enter, and it'll kick out a Monday morning brief for me. Thereby, every Monday, I know full well what I need to do, what the week is, what the priorities are, what emails I need to respond to. All of that kind of stuff is all done. So simply, now that I've created the plugin, press the plus button, go to connect, go to plugins, go through the little one that you want to go through, and then press it. You get a Friday brief, so you can see what sales, what leads, all that kind of stuff has all been done in. For the purpose of demonstration, I'll show you one that I did earlier because it takes a little bit of time to do. So I did a sales performance versus target plugin prompt earlier on. And again, Scott's going to have to edit all of this out, unfortunately, but you can keep the prompt in here, Scott. So the prompt I put together was using my small business plugin, spelled plugin wrong, but hey ho. Can you create me a sales summary of performance quarter to date versus target? May's sales performance. I'm recording this now on the 1st of June. So I want May's sales performance against target, the target for this month, and the gap between what we need to cover to reach the rest of the quarterly target. Also highlight opportunities we should be concentrating on in order to give us the best chance to hit our target, right? So we've got 1 month left of this quarter. I've basically said, where are we against the quarterly target? What do I need to concentrate on in order for us to reach our target? It then goes into the folders that I've given it access to. It goes into my HubSpot and it creates a full breakdown of everything that we've done. I can't share it with you, unfortunately, but you can see that it just scrolls and scrolls, right? From one simple prompt, I've given it access to everything, and it then kicks out a really nice Google Drive document with a full report on all of the sales that we've done to quarter to date, on the gap that we need to close in order to try and hit our quarter, and then on the actual sales opportunities that we need to target, which are most likely to close in order for us to get to our target number. I basically did this yesterday in preparation for this video, and also we had a sales meeting before we started recording today, 9 o'clock this morning. This report formed the basis of my sales meeting. So I got all my sales team together, I presented the report, and I said, look guys, here's the gap. We've got a small gap to try and get to our quarterly target. Here's the gap. These 3 opportunities here are the ones that I think we really need to concentrate on in order to close, and they're the ones that move the needle to try and get us to the quarterly target number. Thankfully, we're there or thereabouts. That's one example. And the second example is obviously the Monday morning brief, which I gave you a few minutes ago. The point being here is Claude Co-Work now gives you the ability to specifically target your individual business to make your job much easier. I have a Monday morning brief that comes to me, which highlights what I need to do. I have a sales pipeline brief that comes to me, which highlights what I need to do. You can incorporate, if you're on QuickBooks, we're not on QuickBooks, we're on Xero, but if you've got in QuickBooks, it can dial into your QuickBooks and you can see cash flow, you can see invoices, you can push this to your finance team, and your finance team can utilize this tool to create reports, which then come into your senior leadership meeting. The thing is absolutely ridiculous. And since we've started utilizing it, I've passed it to everybody within our company now and started saying to them, look, guys, we really need to make sure we're utilizing AI in an efficient way to 10 times our productivity, as opposed to what other organizations are doing, are utilizing AI to try and sack people. We're not. We're saying, let's utilize AI to 10 times your productivity so that we can concentrate on things that are the human we just can't get away from. We utilize this platform to essentially to completely revamp our lead generation piece as well. We've now got a 5-step process to our lead generation. We basically took 30 days. We utilized this platform, and the thing was done in 5 days. We completely revamped our lead generation, which I put together in a PDF. You can check that out in the description below. Follow those 5 steps. You'll completely revamp your lead generation piece within 30 days, which is exactly what we did. And that's it. Utilize it. Claude Co-Work. Take a look at it. Hopefully this video has helped. And if it has helped, then check out this video here, because that video is where I talk about some other really cool stuff that YouTube recommends. So go check that out. Like, subscribe. If this sort of content's been valuable to you, then let me know, and we can obviously look at your comments and then create other videos based off of what you want to see. So check it out. Go and have a play. Game changer.